What's good people, and welcome back to the channel here on Crewboy Productions. My name is BK, and this is the Silly, Nerdy, and Wordy Podcast. This is episode 97, Marvel's Black Widow, as I will be reviewing this in my continuing Blu-ray series. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody is doing very well. Glad to be back with you, doing another episode for you. And quickly, thank you to all the subscribers here on this channel. And thank you to everybody that is listening only on YouTube. If you like that, continue to listen and follow, subscribe here on the channel. All right. Now, this film, I have seen it already before watching it again on this Blu-ray. When this film came out back in 2021, I did see it when it had the simultaneous release back in COVID times in the theaters and on Disney Plus. I stayed home, paid the premium price to watch it on Disney Plus during the initial release of this film. However, I really wish that they, decision makers at Disney and Marvel, would have made this film and had this release during the lead up to Infinity War and Endgame. This would have been so perfect to have that, but it didn't happen, and so we have what we have. So this film is directed by Kate Shortland. It stars Scarlett Johansson. It introduces David Harbour's character, the Red Guardian, and Florence Pugh's character, Yelena, and we got those two characters of what we see now in their projects moving forward. And so I generally still like the film. I liked it when it came out, and I like it again when I've rewatched it here. It is a nice, big, action-packed film with great story and great character development and some good things in here. I do like how the film started out in terms of showing the character of Natasha, showing her childhood a little bit, her background of how she was as a person, who she is, and how that informed who she became to be as a child. And then also, once we get back to the present day, we see her on the run. We see her how she is on her own before she has that encounter and then meets up with her sister. So having that background there, having that little bit more of the insight into the character of Natasha, of Black Widow, was great to have there as well. Now, I said that this is a very much an action-packed film. It kind of goes non-stop at times. It has a few breaks in between. But one of the things that was interesting to me rewatching this in the eyes that I look at films now is that this film has so many great set pieces. And the amount of action set pieces that this film has, to me, that says that this director has to have a great second unit director to be able to do all the things that needed to happen in this film, because she being the director, Kate Shortland, can't be in all the different locations. No director can. And so I just want to shout out the second unit director, because the second unit director is the person that is directing the other action set pieces. Sometimes one of the biggest set pieces that you'll see in the film, while the director is off on another location filming something else. And so it's their job, along with their team, to get things set in place and to direct the actors and to get the special effects and the pyrotechnics and whatever is involved. So I want to shout the second unit director out for this Marvel's Black Widow film, and his name is Darren Prescott. Now, Darren Prescott, I want to mention some of his previous projects, films that he's worked on. He is no stranger to the MCU. He has worked on multiple MCU projects, so I just want to give him some love and show and just talk about some of the previous things that he's worked on, because you all have seen him in other previous MCU projects and other projects outside. So he has worked on a total of 4 MCU films, including this one. So he's worked on Marvel Civil War. He's worked on both Black Panther films. He's also worked on 4 John Wick films, including the Ballerina spinoff in June 2025. And he's also worked on Deadpool 2. So he has worked on a lot of action movies. There's some other things I saw there as well that he has worked on. So second unit director is always key because he is directing those other set pieces as well. And of course, Darren Prescott also has a stunt background as well. So that comes in key to this. And again, we got the introduction to Red Guardian and Yelena. And one of the things I also want to talk about in this is the performance of Florence Pugh. She jumps off the screen, and every time she is on screen, I love what she's doing, not only in this film, but also as we saw in Thunderbolts, and we see in the Hawkeye series. So whenever she's on screen, I love what she's doing with her performance, as well as what she did in Dune Part 2. Now, I've only seen her in these two franchises, in the Marvel films and Dune Part 2, but I'll be interested to see what she does outside of these two franchises when those projects come up. But just want to shout her out because every time she's on screen, her personality, the way she does, and also she emotes very well in the emotional moments in this film, in this Black Widow film, as well as in Thunderbolts, which I do have an episode for that. I did review that and talk about that. I have a few shorts on that, and I believe I talked about her performance in that film as well. So you can check that episode here. I'll link it in the description. But I love what she did with her character as well as her action also. And then I want to talk about another thing in this film, and that is the Red Room once we get to the Red Room. But when Rachel Weisz, she is also in this film, when her character Yelena, they get on the Red Room ship, and she's on her way going to another room. But she looks into the Red Room where the widows are training, and they're doing this sequence where they're standing, some combat sequence, when they're on their feet, they're going to the ground, they're coming up, and she's looking in there. And I just want to highlight that because that was very in sync, it was very crisp, it was very clean, choreographing that particular sequence. Everybody was in place because I'm not only looking at the person in front, I'm looking at the person behind, to the left and the right. It reminds me when I was watching those great dance shows back in the day. I'm talking about America's Best Dance Crew, So You Think You Can Dance, The World of Dance. When we had those group performances, everybody was in sync with their performance, with their movements. And so it just reminded me of that, everybody being in sync and clear with their movement, and that was the situation in the Red Room sequence. It was very quick, but a very important scene, and I just thought that was just great to see that movement there for this Black Widow film. And then, yeah, so overall, I thought it was great. I love the action pieces. The comedy in this was timely as well, in the different spots, as it always is, well, as it mostly is in these MCU films. And then one of the last action pieces was the flight sequence when they're parachuting through the air as Taskmaster and Natasha are fighting, and they're sliding on that piece of that item in the air as they're sliding, and she's still in her stance. I was just so cool to see that there. So I think that's going to be mostly all I have to say for the film. I just wanted to highlight some of those production things, some story things. Looking at this through the way I look at films now, this film still holds up to me. It's still a great watch for me. And again, I just wish this was released in the initial 22, 23 MCU films that was leading up to Infinity War and Endgame, but the powers that be did not do it, and it did it after the fact, and then at least we have it. So again, I enjoyed this film very much so, and I think that's all I have to say about this film generally. Now, I hope you've enjoyed that, hope you got something out of it, hopefully you learned something, particularly with the second unit director as well. So let me just switch to a few quick things here. Some future things I have coming that I'll be working on content. Let's start on the movie front. Hopefully I'll be seeing the Jason Statham movie Shelter. Hopefully I should be seeing that provided the weather cooperates. And then the Crime 101 movie that's coming out in February with Chris Hemsworth and Halle Berry. That looks fun. Looking forward to seeing that in February 2026. And on the Broadway front, obviously I have recently seen the Harry Potter show. You see my playbill in the background, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Have an episode on that. You can check that out now. I'll link that in the description. And then in February 2026, I will be seeing the Alicia Keys play that she has been a part of this, Hell's Kitchen. I'll be seeing that in February 2026 in a couple weeks, so excited to see that. I also will be seeing Hamilton, but later this year. That'll be in June 2026. I think at this time it'll be I believe my fourth time or so seeing it, but it will be my first time doing a review on it. So always excited to see Hamilton. Is coming down here. And then I'll have some other Broadway shows to eventually see once DPAC, my local theater here, Durham Performing Arts Center, they announce their new season, which should be hopefully in mid to late March or late February. And hopefully I'll be able to talk about some other shows, Broadway shows, that I'll be seeing later this year and into next year, 2027. So, with that is all I'll have today for this episode 97, Marvel's Black Widow, my nerdy review. So I hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. If you did, subscribe to the channel here on Crewboy Productions. Subscribe to my second channel, Crewboy Productions Presents Nerdy Notes, as I put these shorts on that channel as well. And you can also follow me on TikTok at NerdyPodcaster124 as I put the shorts up there as well. And on the podcast feed, you can follow the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for the Silly, Nerdy, and Wordy podcast, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow the podcast there. And thank you again for everyone that is listening to the podcast. And for those of you that are listening only here on YouTube, thank you so much. All right. Now, I hope all of you have good vibes for the rest of your day. And until next time, we will talk soon.